I found out my mom used my name to open multiple credit cards and ruined my credit. I only discovered it when applying for a mortgage. When I confronted her, she cried. Didn't fix it. I filed charges. She pled guilty. I've always been the dependable one. Not the oldest. That's my sister. Not the golden child. That was my brother for a while, but the one who never made a mess, never needed rescuing, the one who paid things back, stayed quiet, and kept the house running after. Dad left. My mom used to say I was her rock. I used to take that as love. We weren't poor, but we were always behind. There was always one bill we couldn't cover, one appliance broken, one check that didn't come on time. My mom held it together mostly, or made it look like she did. She cried in the kitchen sometimes when she thought I couldn't hear. I used to bring her tea and sit quietly until she pulled herself together. I learned early how to feel responsible for other people's fear. By high school, I had my first part-time job. Every paycheck, and no matter how small, she'd ask, "Can you just spot us until Friday?" I always said yes. Never asked for it back. Not once. When I got into community college, I stayed home. She said she was proud. Said it was so thoughtful that I wasn't leaving her with the bills. I told myself it was the smart choice. It wasn't. It was the guilty one. Didn't even have a credit card until I was 22. Didn't trust myself with one. Mom always warned us about debt. Debt is how the banks own you, she used to say. Live lean, live free. She said that a lot. I moved out at 25, finally. Small. Apartment, third floor, no elevator, but it was mine. She cried when I signed the lease. Not proud tears. Not even sad ones. Just quiet, tired ones. I felt like I was leaving something behind, like I was doing something wrong. Even after I moved out, I kept helping. Gas money, groceries, birthday gifts for my niece. Just until payday. Always a reason. Always. Temporary. I started saving, not for anything specific, just a future. I didn't even know what I wanted yet. But I wanted to be ready. A house, maybe. One I could call mine, without guilt attached. We were at dinner once when my brother joked, "You better not get famous. Mom's probably got your social. Security number memorized." Everyone laughed, even me. Mom just smiled and said, "Please, I'd never do anything to hurt my baby." Looking back, I don't remember the exact moment I started to feel uneasy. But I remember walking past a bank once, seeing a sign for first-time home buyers and thinking, yeah, I think I'm ready. I had no idea that decision would unravel everything I thought I knew about my mom. I started meeting with a broker, not fancy, just a guy my friend used. Said he was straightforward, honest. He gave me a checklist. Credit score, pull debt to income 2 years of taxes bank statements. Pre-approval APPI had most of it ready in 2 days. I was proud of myself. No car payment, no student loans, clean rent history, never. Missed a bill in my life. I'd built quietly for years, never asking anyone for anything, not even her. First weird thing. The credit check took longer than expected. Broker said, "Hey, did you co-sign anything recently? There's a handful of open accounts under your name." I said no. He said, "No worries. Could just be old stuff. We'll look closer tomorrow." I didn't think much of it. Yet. That night I called my mom, told her I was looking at houses. She sounded surprised. Wow. Already? Already. Like I hadn't been working toward this since 19. She asked how much I'd saved, not in a curious way. In an evaluating way. I gave her a vague answer. She laughed and said, "That's good. I always knew you'd be the one to come through." "Come through for what?" Broker called again. "Hey, I've got the credit report." I expected a number. Instead, he asked, "Do you have a Macy's card or a Capital One?" "No." "Okay. There's about 5 active accounts. Balances on all of them. Opened years ago. Some late payments." I felt cold. I asked him to send me the report. He paused, then said, Of course. Just take a breath before you look at it. I didn't know what that meant. Until I opened the file, it was my name. My address? My old address. Opened in 2019. Credit limits. Low. Balances. High. Minimum payments missed. One was flagged for charge-off review. I called my sister, told her I was applying for a mortgage, and something weird came up. She was quiet for a second. Then she said, "Has Mom been asking for your info again?" Again. That night, I pulled my full credit history. I knew my name, my social security number, my birth date, and someone else had been using them like their own. I didn't confront her right away. I wanted to be sure. I didn't want to accuse the person who packed my lunches, showed up to my school plays, held me when Dad left. So I sat with the file. Read it 3 times. Looked at every address, every charge, every missed payment. All of them pointed to one place. Home. I called the Capital One card company. The rep asked for my info, then paused. "Sir, we can't verify your identity. This account was opened with different security answers. I asked if it had a backup contact. She said, yes, it's listed as Mom's name. I didn't cry, didn't yell. I just sat on the floor of my apartment, staring at the wall, because this wasn't a mistake. Wasn't identity theft by a stranger. It was intentional, and it was close. I called my sister again, told her everything. She was quiet, then said, she did something similar with me. Cable, phone plans, but never credit. Not that I know of. I asked if she ever confronted her. What's the point? She'll just cry. I still held out hope that maybe, somehow, this wasn't what it looked like. So I called, not to accuse, to ask, hey, did you ever open anything in my name? Long pause. Then, what are you talking about? I explained, calmly. The mortgage, the broker, the cards, the missed payments. Her voice changed, small, defensive. I don't remember doing anything like that. Are you sure it's not just a mistake? That was the moment it broke. Not because she denied it, but because she didn't sound surprised. I said, they have your name listed as the backup. The statements went to your address. They're your charges. She went quiet, then said, I didn't think it would affect you like this. No apology, no explanation, just that line. I didn't think it would affect you, as if it was a parking ticket, as if ruining my credit was just a thing that happened. She started crying, said things were hard, said I'd been doing so well, said she thought I wouldn't even notice. I hung up, not because I was angry, because I couldn't carry her crying anymore. My phone lit up for the next hour. Texts, missed calls, one from my brother. What did you say to Mom? She's freaking out. I didn't reply, because I was done explaining what I didn't break. My brother texted me again. Look, I'm not saying it was right, but just talk to her. She's scared. Scared. I sat with that word for a long time, because it wasn't about what she had done. It was about how I was making her feel. I met her in person. Neutral ground, coffee shop, public. I brought a folder with the credit report in it. She didn't touch it, didn't look at it, just said, you really think I'm a bad person? I said, you used my name to open credit. You used my credit to buy things I didn't know about. You missed payments in my name. She said, I was desperate. I said, you still are. You're just desperate to not be blamed. She cried. Again. Not loud, not performative, just tears, slow, quiet ones, but they weren't for me. She asked, can we just move past this? I'll make it right. I asked, how? She had no answer. That night, I got a call from my aunt. Your mom's been through so much. Try not to shame her. I said, she stole my identity. She's your mother. That was the moment I realized they didn't care what she did. They just cared that I made it real. I froze my credit, filed initial fraud alerts, talked to a lawyer. Everything felt surreal, like I was suing the person who used to braid my sister's hair before school. My sister called me, said she wasn't choosing sides, then said, "But you are hurting her by dragging this out." I laughed, actually laughed. I'm the one with the debt. I'm the one who lost his mortgage, and somehow I'm dragging it out? She didn't respond. I texted Mom the next day. "I need you to admit it." In writing. No response. Just a text an hour later that said, "This is so cruel." I said it out loud that night. In my apartment by myself, she stole from me. No but, no softening, no excuses, just the truth. And it felt like a wound, finally breathing air. I filed the fraud claim, typed my name, typed hers, clicked submit. I sat in the dark afterward, didn't feel powerful, didn't feel angry, just hollow. My credit card company called, asked for verification, asked if I wanted to press formal charges. I asked for a day to think, then called back that night and said yes. Because if this were anyone else, it wouldn't even be a question. Word got out, my brother texted, "You really filed on Mom? Are you serious?" I said. "She opened 5 cards under my name and never told me." He replied, "We all helped each other. That's what family does." I responded, "You helped by choice. I was never asked." He didn't reply. Not then, not since. My sister called, furious. "Do you realize what you're doing to her?" I said. "Do you realize what she did to me?" She hung up. The investigation dragged emails, documentation, statements. I kept finding more accounts, store cards, 2 maxed out credit lines, a loan application that got denied because of me, and all in my name. I confronted her again, by text this time. I found 2 more. She replied, "I didn't think they'd go through." Like that made it okay. Like the attempt wasn't betrayal enough. My aunt messaged me, "We all thought you were stronger than this." I didn't respond, because being strong doesn't mean carrying the knife someone else put in your back. One of my cousins posted online about kids who think they're better than the parents who fed them. No names, didn't need to be. I logged off because I wasn't going to argue with people who decided I was the villain just for drawing a line. My lawyer said the DA might not pursue full charges if Mom agreed to sign a confession and pay a bazi penalty. I said, "She won't sign anything." He said, "Then we go forward." And I said, "Then go." My sister blocked me. I only noticed because her name vanished from a group thread. No message, no announcement, just gone. My brother stopped calling, stopped texting, stopped existing, basically. Unless someone else was there to forward the family drama, I became a ghost with a pulse. My cousin got married, no invite, not even a mention. Found out through mutuals on Instagram. When I asked one of them, she said, they didn't want it to be awkward. The bank confirmed 2 accounts were being closed, but the others were still under dispute, still damaging my score, still there like bruises that hadn't healed yet. Even though I hadn't made a single one, my lawyer sent over the confession form. Simple. 1 page. She had to admit what she did and agree to pay back the creditors. He said, she signs this, and they'll let it go. You can start rebuilding. She didn't sign it. Instead, she called me, her voice shaking. "You really want to see me go to jail?" I said, "No. I want you to be accountable." She said, "Same thing." I didn't speak to her for a week after that. Didn't check. Didn't chase her. And in that silence, I realized I'd always been the one trying to keep the peace, trying to fix the mess, trying to be the good son. And when I stopped, nobody stepped in. One of my uncles reached out, said, "You're not wrong, but you're not right either." I asked what that meant. He said, "There are some things we just don't air out." I finally told him, "You know she stole from me." He paused, then said, "She's your mother." And that's when I got it. They weren't trying to protect her, they were trying to protect the illusion of who she used to be. The case moved forward. No apology, no payment, no peace offering, and somehow, even after all of it, I still felt like I was the one who'd broken something sacred. The DA offered a deferred prosecution deal. No jail, no record. If she signed the statement, closed the accounts, and entered a financial recovery plan, all she had to do was take responsibility. She didn't. They filed the charges. Fraud. False use of identifying information. 6 counts. I got the call at work. I didn't cry, didn't smile, just nodded. Because it wasn't justice, but it was real. News didn't spread fast until it did. Then I got the messages from cousins, from old neighbors. You filed charges on your mom? Seriously? Over money? Over my name? Over my future? Over the house I couldn't buy? She pled guilty, misdemeanor downgrade, 2 years probation, mandatory credit repair course, $11,123 in restitution, due in monthly payments over 5 years. It wasn't a fall from grace. But it was a fall. She moved in with my aunt, sold her car, picked up extra hours, still didn't call me, still never said, "I'm sorry." My credit started repairing, slowly. I got a new job, found a new place. Didn't look at houses for a while. I needed to feel safe again before I built anything else. My brother still hasn't spoken to me. My sister sent a short message. "You did what you had to, but I don't think I'll ever see her the same again." I didn't reply, because some truths don't need acknowledgement. They just need time. I saw her once, 6 months later, at a store. She didn't notice me at first. Then, she did. She froze. We didn't speak. I walked past her like she was a stranger, and in that moment, she was. A few weeks later, I got a card in the mail. No return address, just my name, and inside, "You'll always be my son. I just wish you'd handled it differently." No apology, not even her handwriting. Typed, I burned it. Not out of hate, just because I refused to carry weight that was never mine again. I'm not healed, I'm not bitter, I'm just building, slowly, quietly, a life with my name on it. And this time, only mine.